The sun's coming up, the drinks are hot, and now it's time for our first cup. Today, it's time. Happy New Year, and happy birthday to First Cup. To kick things off right, figured I'd give you a little bit of an existential quandary. What is something that you and I use every day that's useful but not real? Something useful, not real. Now, if you're being honest with yourself, there's probably actually a few things that would fit into that category. But the one thing I want to talk about today is time. Yep, that's right. Hours, minutes, months, and days, all incredibly useful. Incredibly present in our lives, in fact, but all made up. Not real in any sense of existing outside of we decide that they exist. In fact, I used to talk about this stuff by saying it's the most commonly held delusion among all people. And while that's not entirely true, I think you get the point. Time's in everything we do, right? It's in the marking of holidays and birthdays. It's in clocking how fast we're traveling. It's in understanding when our next appointments are, when it's time to record a new video, right? But everything that I talked about and everything that's drawing a reference from time, history, media, science, it's all drawing from something that fundamentally does not exist. Now, to be clear, just because it doesn't exist doesn't mean that I'm saying, oh, well, we need to tear it down and we need to, get rid of our concept of time. No, not at all. Not at all. Because even though it's fake, time is still incredibly useful, right? If you're in a relationship and you've ever forgotten your anniversary, you know just how useful time can be, right? But it's there, right? And across history, sure, we've had all sorts of different kinds of calendars and we've had to make all sorts of different adjustments, but fundamentally, we keep coming back to the idea that a calendar is a good thing to have, right? Fundamentally, we keep coming back to the idea that a way to mark the passage of time is important. We've chosen, as a species and kind of tacitly, if not explicitly as individuals, to say that, yeah, time matters. But understanding that time's prevalence in our lives, that time mattering is a choice, is the most important part of it, especially on a day like today, like New Year's Day. Why is that? Well, if everything about time is a kind of an arbitrary choice, a commonly held delusion, if you will, then that means that the concept of New Year's Day is exactly the same thing. And what do we associate with New Year's Day other than Auld Lang Syne and fireworks and all that other merrymaking? A lot of people choose to make resolutions, right? And I could tell you about the myriad ways to make resolutions and to make new behavioral patterns stick, right? Take small chunks, right? Set incremental goals, not one big one. Give yourself hard steps that you can follow, hard plateaus of progress that you can track. Sure, I can tell you that. I just did. You can hear it anywhere else, but I'm going to tell you to reflect on the fact also that time does not exist. That the day that you're choosing to start these resolutions doesn't really exist other than you saying, that's a day, and I want to start on this resolution. I want to start on this project, this thing that I want to do. And if you can choose a day, like New Year's Day, to get started, You can choose any day to get started. I'll repeat that. You can choose any day to get started. It's all arbitrary. And there's power in that ability to choose, because if you understand that time isn't real, but it's incredibly useful, if you understand that New Year's Day is something that we've all kind of collectively agreed to call New Year's Day, but it's not actually something other than outside the meaning we infuse into it, we can use that same process on any day, any time. It can be New Year's Day, it can be January 2nd, it can be any day between now and December 31st. You can pick any day, and it can matter. You can pick any day to start doing what you need to and what you want to for yourself, for your family, for your community, and beyond. In other words, you can pick any day, any hour, any minute, and you can say to yourself, it's time. But please remember that no matter what you've heard or what I've said, death comes for us all, and a closed mouth never gets fed. Take care of yourselves. Happy New Year. We'll speak again soon.